There's a moment every man dreads. You send a message, you wait, nothing. She saw it, she's online, but she doesn't reply. And now, you're stuck in your head. What happened? Did I say something wrong? Should I double text? Listen closely, because what you do next will either destroy her attraction completely or elevate it. When a woman ignores you, it triggers one of the deepest, most painful instincts in a man, the fear of rejection. Your mind goes into survival mode. Fix it now. Win her back. Don't lose her. But here's the truth most men never hear. These reactive urges, the chasing, the overthinking, the emotional spiral, are exactly what ruin your chances. Women in today's dating world are testing men more than ever. Why? Because they want to know, are you the kind of man who stays grounded when faced with tension, or do you crumble at the first sign of pressure? The sad reality? Most men fail these tests, not because they're weak or unworthy, but because they don't understand the psychology behind her behavior. When a woman ignores you, it's not always rejection. It's a moment, a silent challenge, a test, a powerful opportunity to separate yourself from every average guy she's used to and show her that you are alpha. This video isn't about mind games, it's about masculine strategy, and I'm going to reveal the 5 deadly mistakes you must never make when she ignores you. These aren't just dating tips. They're the hard-earned truths that separate men who get ghosted and walked over from those who command respect, desire, and admiration. By the end of this video, you'll know how to stay composed, maintain your masculine frame, and flip the power dynamic back in your favor, without losing your soul in the process. Let's dive in. Mistake number 1, over-texting or over-communicating. When she ignores you, your first instinct might be to reach out more. You think, if I just say the right thing, she'll respond. If I just explain myself, she'll understand. This mindset is a trap. The moment you bombard her with texts, calls, or voice notes, you're communicating something far more damaging than your words. Desperation, insecurity, lack of emotional self-control. You're showing her that her silence is more powerful than your self-respect. Let me ask you this. If you're constantly chasing her attention, when does she ever get the chance to miss you? She doesn't. You rob her of the most powerful tool in attraction, mystery. Over-communication kills tension. It smothers desire, and it signals to her that you're not the confident man she once felt drawn to. You're now the man who can't handle silence. So what's the better move? Silence. Not out of pettiness, not out of revenge, but from clarity, confidence, power. She saw your message. She knows it's there. Now let her feel your absence. Women are naturally curious, emotionally driven creatures. When you don't chase, you create intrigue. She begins to wonder, is he busy? Is he losing interest? Did I misread him? These are the thoughts you want her to have, not, why won't this guy leave me alone? Understand this. No response is a response. She's sending a message. You don't need to decode it with panic. Just receive it with strength. Maybe she's testing you. Maybe she's unsure. Or maybe she's lost interest. Whichever it is, over-communicating never works. A high-value man doesn't chase someone who isn't reciprocating. He doesn't explain himself. He doesn't double text. He doesn't ask, why aren't you replying? Why? Because his silence speaks volumes. It says, I am not shaken by your distance. I don't need to beg for your attention. I know who I am. Let her feel that. Your absence, when delivered with purpose, is more attractive than any words you could ever send. Mistake number 2, trying to win her back. So she's ignoring you. And now your mind starts racing. Maybe if I show her how much I care. Maybe if I go the extra mile, she'll see how serious I am. And before you know it, you're overcompensating, sending flowers, leaving sweet notes, complimenting her endlessly, promising change, offering more than she ever asked for. Let me tell you the truth, man to man, this never works. Why? Because trying to win her back after she's pulled away doesn't build attraction, it kills it. The moment you start putting in 200% effort for someone who's giving you 0%, the balance shifts completely. You're no longer the grounded masculine man she was once drawn to. You've become a man who's afraid of losing her, and fear is never attractive. Here's what you're really communicating when you do this. You're more valuable than me. Your approval defines my worth. I'll do anything not to lose you. That's not love, that's desperation. And desperation is like cologne sprayed on insecurity. It might cover it for a second, but it stinks up the whole room eventually. A woman wants a man who chooses her, not a man who needs her to survive. Trying to win her back flips the script. Now you're chasing, and she's deciding if you're worthy. And here's the kicker. The more you chase, the less she respects you. Because attraction doesn't come from grand gestures. It comes from certainty, presence, mystery, and strength. So what should you do? Flip the focus inward. Instead of trying to prove yourself to her, prove yourself to yourself. Hit the gym. Double down on your goals. Reconnect with the mission that drives you. Level up in silence. When she sees you thriving without her, a thought creeps in. Wait, did I misjudge him? Now, instead of trying to get her back, you've made her question leaving. That's power. Remember this. You don't win a woman back by convincing her. You win her back by becoming a man she realizes she was foolish to walk away from. A man who doesn't chase approval because he knows he is the prize. Mistake number 3, reacting out of anger or frustration. This is where most guys go from potentially recovering to completely self-destructing. She ignores you, and suddenly you're not just hurt. You're pissed. You're insulted. You feel disrespected. And now the emotions take over. You send the angry message, "Why are you acting like this? Oh, so you're just gonna ghost me now? Wow, I guess I was just a game to you." Or worse, you try to guilt trip her. "After everything I did for you, I guess I never mattered." Let me be crystal clear. These reactions destroy any remaining attraction she might have had. Why? Because the moment you lash out, you show her she has power over your emotional state. You're not in control, she is. And women do not feel safe or turned on by men who are emotionally unstable or overly reactive. It tells her, this guy can't handle pressure. He's not grounded. His emotions run him. Even if she was on the fence about you, your emotional explosion pushes her off. Fast. Now you're not just unattractive. You're a liability. You might feel justified in your anger. You might even think you're being real. But what you're really being is reactive. And real masculinity is responsive, not reactive. So what's the move? Composure. Let her ghost you. Let her post thirst traps. Let her play the silence game. You stay centered, unshaken, unmoved, because that's what true strength looks like. Now don't get me wrong, you're allowed to feel anger, you're allowed to be frustrated, but you don't need to express it to her, you channel it into your workouts, into your business, into your craft, into your evolution. Let her silence be the fuel that makes you stronger, not the trigger that makes you spiral. Here's the truth. The man who can remain calm when everything feels out of control is the man women can't forget. Mistake number 4, seeking validation or apologizing excessively. Now let's talk about a mistake that wears the mask of maturity, but quietly destroys your masculine energy from within. It's the urge to seek validation. She ignores you, and instead of standing firm, you slide into her messages with things like, "Did I do something wrong? Are you okay? I'm sorry if I upset you." Sounds polite, right? Sounds like emotional awareness? Wrong. What it really sounds like is insecurity. It tells her, "I don't trust my own actions." Your silence has more power than my self-belief. You decide if I'm worthy. You're handing her the remote control to your emotions and silently begging her to press play. A high-value man doesn't ask for reassurance. He doesn't second-guess every word he said. He doesn't start apologizing for things he hasn't even confirmed are wrong. He assumes the best, not out of arrogance, but out of clarity. If there's a genuine reason to apologize, he'll do it once. Direct, clear, without groveling. But anything more than that? It's not maturity, it's emotional weakness. Here's what you have to understand. Women don't respond to excessive apologies. They respond to certainty, confidence, centered energy. So when she's silent and distant, and you feel the urge to beg for answers, stop and remind yourself, I do not chase validation. I offer presence. I offer value. And if it's not recognized, I walk. You don't need to ask, are we okay? Because a man who knows his worth is okay, with or without her. Let her come to you on her own terms. Let her silence be her responsibility, not your invitation to self-abandon. In the modern world, the most attractive thing a man can do when he's ignored is hold frame, not fold. Mistake number 5, trying to make her jealous. Now this one is especially dangerous, because on the surface, it feels like you're reclaiming power. You post that gym selfie. You go out with a girl and make sure she's in your story. You laugh a little too hard in your posts. You show her, hey, look at me, I've moved on. But here's the truth, brother. Trying to make her jealous is the clearest signal that you haven't moved on at all. It screams insecurity. It tells her, I still need your attention. It tells her, I'm crafting my life to provoke a reaction out of you. And women? They're highly intuitive. They can smell manipulation a mile away. What you think is clever, she sees as emotional theater. Instead of thinking, damn, I miss him, she's thinking, wow, he's trying way too hard. You might think creating jealousy brings her back, but if it does, it usually comes with toxicity, resentment, and a warped power dynamic. And if it doesn't, you've just burned the bridge completely. So what's the better move? Live your life authentically. If you're truly out enjoying yourself, amazing. But don't stage it. Don't curate it to get a response. Live for your own expansion, not her attention. The real flex isn't trying to show her you've moved on. It's moving on so powerfully that she feels it. Because guess what happens when she sees you unbothered, focused, leveling up, and not trying to show it off? She starts asking herself, wait, did I lose him? Why isn't he reacting? Why isn't he trying to prove anything? That curiosity, that's attraction being reawakened. Because the man who doesn't play games stands out. The man who doesn't need validation gets it effortlessly. Let other guys play small, childish games. You move in silence. You upgrade in private. And you become the man that doesn't need to manipulate, because your life already speaks for itself. Mistake number 6, waiting around for her to respond. Now here's the one that flies under the radar. The silent killer of masculine energy. It's not dramatic, it's not obvious, but it's one of the worst things you can do when she ignores you. Waiting. Waiting for her to reply, waiting for her to come back, putting your life on hold until she gives you closure or attention. Brother, that's not patience, that's self-abandonment. When you wait around for a woman who's pulled away, you're sending her, and yourself, one loud message. My life is stuck until you return. And that is deeply unattractive. Women are hyper-aware of energy. They know when you're lingering. They can feel when a man's attention is orbiting them, even in silence. You may not be texting her, but if she can sense that your world hasn't moved an inch, she knows she still has power, and the second she knows that, her attraction dies. Here's the harsh truth most men avoid. You accomplish nothing by waiting. You don't gain clarity, you don't gain respect, and you sure as hell don't gain attraction. What you lose though? Time, power, momentum, self-worth. Modern dating rewards men who are in motion, who are focused on building, expanding, evolving. The high-value man doesn't wait for validation. He builds a life so full, so rich in purpose, that anyone who chooses to leave gets replaced by that momentum. So what should you do instead of waiting? You redirect. Reinvest in your health. Lock in on your career. Strengthen your circle. Learn new skills. explore new passions, stack wins that have nothing to do with her. Because every second you're waiting for her text is a second you're not becoming the man who doesn't need it. Let her see or hear through the grapevine that you've been thriving without missing a step. Let her realize that your life didn't pause when she left. It accelerated. That's how you flip the power dynamic. By never handing her the power in the first place. Mistake number 7. Changing who you are to please her now. We reach the final and perhaps the most dangerous mistake. Changing your identity to win her back. This one happens slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. You start adjusting how you talk. You tone down your humor. You suddenly pretend to like things she likes. You become more agreeable, less bold, more easygoing, and before you know it, you're no longer you. You've become a version of yourself that's designed to not offend her, to not upset her, to be exactly who you think she wants, and it never works, because deep down, she knows. She can feel it. You're performing, you're shrinking, you're bending, just to stay in her orbit. But here's what you must understand, David. Women don't fall in love with a man who molds himself around them. They fall in love with a man who stands tall in his identity and says, "This is who I am, and I'm not changing to keep you." That's what makes you magnetic. You want to test this? Be unapologetically yourself. If she pulls away and you remain firm, still laughing your laugh, still owning your edge, still walking your path, she'll either A. come back with more respect than ever, or B. stay away, which is her way of making room for the right woman who does love you for who you are. Either way, you win, because nothing is more powerful than authenticity, and nothing is more repelling than self-betrayal. Now don't get it twisted, we're not saying don't grow, but growth should come from your mission, not her opinion. You evolve for you, not to keep someone who only liked a filtered version of you. Be the man who can say, "I'd rather lose someone than lose myself," because that's the kind of man who can't be replaced. So let's bring it home, brother. When a woman ignores you, it's not the end. It's a crossroad. You can spiral, chase, overcompensate, beg, shrink, or you can rise. Rise into the man who doesn't react. He reflects. Doesn't chase. He builds. Doesn't wait. He moves forward. Doesn't perform. He leads. Because at the end of the day, this is bigger than her. This is about you, your emotional control, your standards. Your time, your purpose, the silence she gives you, use it. Let it sharpen your vision. Let it build your character. Let it remind you of what matters more than her approval, your integrity, your direction, your identity. You are the man, not just when things go well, but when everything is silent and you remain unshaken. If she comes back, it's because your energy pulled her. If she doesn't, it's because you made space for someone better. Either way, you win. Drop a comment below right now and tell me, which of these mistakes have you made? Let's be real. Let's be honest. Let's evolve together. And if this video helped you reclaim your power, share it with a brother who needs to hear this. Until next time, stay focused, stay grounded, and never forget. You're not here to chase. You're here to lead. This is Alpha Male 360. I'm David, and this is the Stoic approach to life.